Hi, I'm Mark Posner from the Cypress College Public Information Office. Welcome to this edition of the At Cypress channel. Our guest this episode is Trevor Hoffman, who is being honored by the Cypress College Foundation at the 38th Annual Americana Awards. Joined by Trevor Hoffman, who Trevor's an alum at Cypress College and our Man of the Year for Americana this year. Trevor, thank you for taking the time to be with us today, and congratulations on the honor. I want to start just by asking you about your experience at Cypress College, and particularly with Coach Pickler.
Well, as I look back on my time at Cypress, it was one of a lot of comfort. I enjoyed being on campus. I enjoyed my time with Coach Pick and the Charger program. I felt like I grew quite a bit physically and mentally as a person over those 2 years, and really just had a lot of fun, experienced what college baseball was about, and college education life, we'll say, and preparing me for the next stage of my life at the University of Arizona.
And you finished your baseball career as the best pitcher, best closer in Major League Baseball. I'll joke with you a little bit. The guy only let you throw once. I mean, what is it that's kept that bond going all this time?
Maybe the fact that he only let me throw once allowed me to have a fresher arm for sure. But I think that at the time I still possessed enough prowess on the diamond as an infielder and a potential hitter that he didn't want to embarrass me on the hill, because that one time wasn't exactly a fruitful event for myself. I think I threw 10 or 11 pitches to one of our assistant coaches, Dave Castilla, and 6 or 7 of them got hit over the fence, and the other few were hit off the wall. So it wasn't exactly the greatest memory.
But you say, I mean, in all seriousness, yeah, he really went to bat for you, and you feel that strong connection. What is it, do you think, that's built that bond?
Well, I don't think it could be more apparent in the fact that my sophomore year I was limited in some playing time, and Coach went to bat for me to get a scholarship at the University of Arizona, and forever indebted him for that. But the Pickler family and the Hoffman family go way back. Our fathers, Irv and Eddie, knew one another quite well, and the families. And my brother's going to school with the Pickler boys in the 70s at Savannah High School, and so I definitely felt like it was a natural fit to, once moving on from high school, to attend Cypress.
The transition to U of A and then into your professional career, did you feel like you were well prepared for that?
Well, and I think that's a great point to bring up. You leave the comforts of high school, all the security that's around that, the security blankets of the teachers paying attention to you, making sure you're there at class, and being on campus, to your first experience as a collegiate student athlete. The responsibility to get to classes on time and maintain your grades, and to have grade checks with the baseball program. But to go to a nurturing environment like I had, and an accountable one. I mean, Coach was let you know straight up, hey, you don't pull your weight around here, then there's not going to be a place for you. And he was very, very stern and very adamant about that. And so I think I was well prepared for that, but also to have that kind of environment to walk into, fresh out of high school, where I was comfortable, safe, allowed me to flourish in an environment that you're comfortable in. And so those 2 years at Cypress, I think, prepared me well for the next phase of my baseball career in college at the University of Arizona, and ultimately into pro baseball, where you are kind of on your own. You're in charge of your own destiny.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a little bit about your dad and your older brothers, but maybe kind of specifically about Glenn, who was a pro from the time you were pretty young. What did that do to your own expectations of yourself?
I think they were a little skewed in a sense. I think it was just, hey, I'm going to be a professional baseball player as a 7-year-old, and being pretty naive in that thought process, not really understanding at the time what it was going to take. But I knew it was a dream of mine to follow my brother's footsteps. And once ultimately having had the opportunity to sign a pro contract and to phase into what that was going to take, the reality as an infielder didn't last very long, and moving to mound after about a year and a half, I was, 1, ready for it, but 2, understood that it's a performance-driven game, and you better put up the numbers to proceed in this game.
Yeah, both your brothers end up coaching. Do you maybe kind of have a coaching mentality with you going through that process?
My older brother should get a lot of credit for the way he really molded both Glenn and I. He's always been the coach of the family, preparing us not only for on the field stuff but off the field things, and what it meant to work hard and be a good teammate. And so there's a couple funny stories. One of Greg's great highlights was when the voice of the Dodgers, Vin Scully, recounted an engagement that Greg and I had at home after a Little League ball game, and that was when I came home and I had a couple hits. I was pretty excited about my day as an 8-9-year-old, and kind of baited me. He said, "Hey, how'd you do today?" I couldn't wait to spit out all my accolades and all what I did, and let's talk about me. And he stopped me in mid-track. He goes, "Hey, that'll be the last time when I ask you how you did. I want to hear about you. I want to hear about the team. How you did means the team." And it just resonated from me from that moment forward that it absolutely is a team game, and that comes first. And so it was those type of teachings, it was those type of experiences with Greg that served me well through most of my career in baseball.
Yeah. I've heard that story from Pick before. It's I think one he likes to tell, and it'd be a good segue to talk about your boys for a minute, because
Sure.
I've used that with both my boys too, having heard that story. So it kind of carries forward.
I love telling them about Dad's stories. At times they get a little yawny. They're like, "Okay, not another the same story, Dad." But one of my favorite books that we read quite a bit, or have read quite a bit when they were younger, was the Inch and Miles book, and it was the Pyramid of Success by Coach John Wooden, put in cartoon form, and all the different building blocks, and the Robin, being enthusiastic every day, and the determination of the alligator, and the loyalty of the dog, and each building block, obviously the same words that the Pyramid of Success has, but put it in a form that the wise old professor asked the two kids in his class to go and search out what the meaning of success was over the summer. And it's a great book, recommend it to anybody, but that's one that we've enjoyed reading over the years, and it's a great lesson, teaching lesson for a lot of things in life.
With your boys, I'm especially thinking about the retirement ceremony with
Sure.
New Jersey being retired. What's it mean as a father to be out on the field with your three boys and your family,
Sure.
whole in a situation like that?
I mean, you're raw. You're out there as a family, and to have that complete honor from your team being bestowed upon you is extremely flattering. But again, for them to have grown up their whole life in a clubhouse and around all these people that are part of the organization, to have it culminate in an event like that when they're still very young. I mean, young teenagers. And actually the next day Brody started high school, so here it is plastered all around town on TV and talk about it on the radio, and him getting to go to high school the next day. Could have been good or bad. I mean, it was a nice segue for the young man, but it might have been a little bit a lot for him to have to endure. But to share that moment with my family, and to still live in town, it was a top of the line type of an event.
Had you ever kind of allowed yourself to picture a moment like that anywhere along your career? I mean, certainly a long way from the transition from shortstop to pitcher.
No, I think that's when people get tripped up, is when you start taking the time to look around and smell the roses to an extent. But that's what retirement's for. I've been able to bask in my own glory for a couple years now and live the glory days. And it is amazing to kind of think back on 18 years of playing a game at this level, how really hard it was, and the amount of time and effort that it takes to put in to do it well. I'm amazed at the guys that are doing it now. I mean, it asks a lot of you, but never in my wildest dreams would have thought it would have played out like it did. The event, the ceremony was like none other I've witnessed in the game, having seen others, and some here. Eric Meyer was leading the orchestra for sure on that one, being able to dot all his I's and cross his T's, and to pull on every emotion that I had out there. I was completely drained by the end of the day, but thoroughly excited about it all.
Well, I'll ask you then about seeing your dad sing the national anthem, the video that they played. I mean, that kind of seemed like the final tug on the heartstring.
Yeah, I mean, that was the crescendo for sure. It was nice to be able to see the family up on stage. It was almost like everything melted away, but only seeing Dad up on the big screen and seeing Mom and my brothers and my children and be able to see their grandfather in that capacity that they hadn't seen him in a long time was pretty special moment. And I know that there wasn't a lot of emotion left to spill out, but what was left was definitely brought out.
And I'll close just by asking you, I think the last time I saw you, you were on campus celebrating one of our baseball team's state championships. I mean, you've been there and remained connected to it. Talk to me about that level of significance and still being there with that group.
Well, Coach has created quite a legacy on campus, as well as Brad, too. Both softball and baseball are well regarded in the state of California at the junior college level for sure. And not only stops there, but what he's done in the Cape Cod League in the summer. Tremendous coach, tremendous motivator. Privileged to be around the program, be allowed to be around the program the times that I can get back. But just truly a lot of respect goes out to the Pickler family for what they stand for off the field and how they go about their business on the field. It was a pleasure to be a part of it.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.